Now today, we have news that is pretty shocking, pretty big, pretty important, but it's not in Idaho. This news comes out of Arizona, Chandler, Arizona. Let me put up on the screen a statement from the Chandler Police Department in Arizona. Here's what they're saying. I can confirm charges if and when they go over to the Maricopa County's Attorney's Office. One will be conspiracy to commit murder. Other charges, if any, are unknown at this time. With regards to this charge, Lori was not the person who shot Charles, as it was already determined Alex Cox did. Lori has always been a person of interest in this investigation. I can't confirm the exact date or timeline when the case will be sent over, but an estimate is 4 to 6 months. Murder charges, conspiracy to commit murder charges, not for the deaths of her children, but for the death of her fourth husband, Charles Vallow, who was shot and killed by her brother, Alex Cox. So now, while she's in jail in Idaho, waiting those charges, while that murder investigation or investigations continue, you've got another investigation taking place in Arizona, and they are looking at her for conspiracy to commit murder. For those of you who don't recall what happened to Charles Vallow, the fourth husband of Lori Vallow, Ted Rollins has the story for us tonight.
Brother-in-law visiting from Houston.
This is dash cam video from the Chandler Police Department obtained by Court TV. Officers are responding to the call that Lori Vallow's husband, Charles, has just been shot by her brother, Alex Cox.
You have the subject on the phone step out of the residence with his hands empty.
Two officers are waiting for Alex Cox with guns drawn as he walks out of the house.
Come out this way, man. You know, no weapons?
No weapons on me.
All right, come on out this way.
Yep.
I'm going to have you have a seat right here on the curb.
Yep. Who else is in the house? No one else is in the house. Okay, just have a seat right there. Let's get FD in here.
Yeah.
Have a seat.
18 seats secure. We got the gentleman out. Have fire rolling.
One officer goes into the house. The other asks Alex what happened.
What happened today? How did it get to this?
I don't know. He was enraged.
What's going on? What happened?
Oh. He was talking with my sister earlier.
No, what happened today, though? Like, just in the last 20 minutes.
He came at me with a bat.
At first, Alex doesn't seem to have a clear response as to what happened.
What was he accusing you of?
He was just yelling at me. I just went back to the living room. I'm like, what is your problem?
With the gun in your hand?
Yes. And I said, I want you to put that bat down. And he wouldn't do it. And he's like, and he came at me with the bat again after he'd already hit me in the head. So I shot him to stop him.
Okay, and then what happened?
That was it.
The officer in the house encounters the body of Charles Vallow in the front room, lying on the floor. Next to the body is the baseball bat that Alex claims Charles used to hit him. After checking his pulse, the officer clears the house as the fire department arrives to pronounce him dead.
This guy, his last name is Vallow, Vallo.
Meanwhile, outside, Lori and Tylee arrive.
Does your husband live here or no?
No, he lives in Houston.
Gotcha.
We just moved in here.
Gotcha. How long have you guys lived here?
I'm sorry?
How long have you lived here?
Like 3 weeks.
Oh, geez. Yeah, okay.
That's why the neighbors don't know us.
Gotcha.
Like, hi neighbor, sorry.
Are you working at all?
No.
Okay. And you're still about 5'6", 120?
The officer then gets some personal information from Tylee.
Blonde, too. You guys, I'm going to list you as a blonde young lady here. And then blue eyes?
Yeah.
You have very blue eyes. That's not under debate.
The officer finally goes to debrief detectives that have just arrived on scene.
Wife, husband got into a verbal argument. Brother steps in and says, just get out. At some point, the niece grabs the bat and is poking her dad. Dad takes the bat away. They decide to leave. Everyone leaves. There's a son, too, a younger son. Her son, he's not here either. So wife who lives here, her daughter, her son, they all leave. Her brother staying here, visiting, and the husband. They get into it. He's like, he says they got into an argument. Husband hit him in the head with a bat. The bat's right next to the brother says, that goes to his room, grabs his gun, his own gun, goes back out, doesn't stay in the room, doesn't lock the door, doesn't call us, but goes back out, confronts him, says, drop the bat. Guy doesn't drop the bat. He says he shoots him. Goes back into his room, puts his gun away, grabs his phone, cleans his head up, calls 911.
You know, the one thing that jumps out at you in this video is Tylee. Think about it. She's a witness. She is a witness to all of this. And she is now gone. She's dead too, dismembered and burnt in Chad Daybell's backyard. Let me bring in Court TV anchors Ted Rollins and Julie Grant with me tonight. Ted, let me start with you. Conspiracy to commit murder. And the number one witness in this case would have been Tylee Ryan.
Yeah, and the person that committed the murder is also gone. Both of them are gone. But Chandler police did, in that statement they released today, they said that they are combing over thousands of pieces of evidence, in electronic evidence. To me, it sounds like first of all, they have time on their side, right? She's incarcerated. They want to get their ducks in a row. But boy, it sure doesn't look good for Lori Vallow. They are onto her. They even mentioned it from the moment they met her. They were onto her. This thing stunk from the very beginning. And I think that eventually here in the next few months, she's going to be facing accessory to murder charges in the state of Arizona.
All right, Julie Grant, you're the professor, you're the evidence specialist, okay? I'm thinking about this. The video we just saw, that would be probably her best evidence. Does she get to use it, you think? Do you think a jury, if in fact there was a conspiracy to commit murder charge here, would get to see this video with Alex Cox talking about his so-called self-defense story?
Great question. Yes, definitely, as long as she could authenticate it. So that would be the big question, the question of authentication. Could it be offered and could it be shown that this video has not been altered in any way? And one would think that the state would have an interest in producing this video too, if not for any other reason, but to show the reactions. I mean, her reaction when I was watching this, I don't know about you, Vinny and Ted, but what I kept thinking about was that testimony we heard during Chad Daybell's prelim in the way of the body camera footage where we heard the recording when the officers went to her home in November to do that welfare check, and she calls her brother Alex her protector. Her protector. I mean, you see, she's laughing, she's giggling with police when her husband, remember, they weren't divorced. Charles Vallow was still her husband at this point. He's just been shot to death by her brother. And the reaction, I mean, this is so sinister. So yes, I do think that this could be something that is introduced. Of course, it would have to be turned over in discovery. As in any case, the state would have to turn over anything that could potentially exculpate her, vindicate her, if you will. No matter what the evidence is, they've got to show their hand if you're the prosecution. So I do think we would see that video.
All right, let's take a listen to Alex Cox. For those of you who have not heard this, remember, he has just shot and killed another human being. He has just shot and killed his brother-in-law, the husband of his sister, Lori. Listen to Alex Cox.
And what is the emergency?
I shot my brother-in-law.
Okay, what part of his body is injured?
In the chest.
I'm sorry, where?
In the chest.
Okay, is he awake and responsive or unconscious?
Unconscious.
Okay, is he breathing?
I can't tell.
Are you willing to go over to him and check?
Sure.
Okay, do you just let me know if you see his chest going up and down? How old is he?
It's not moving. He's 60.
Okay, and are you wanting to start CPR?
No, I don't know how to do that.
I can walk you through it.
Okay.
Ted, that has to be the only time in history when a 911 operator has said, do you want to start CPR? And he says, no.
Nah, I don't know how to do that. No, thank you. I'm just gonna. Why don't we let him die here since I just shot him? Yeah, he's so calm and cool and disinterested in this dead person, dying person, in just feet away from him. And if you keep playing that, he actually does go over there and supposedly do CPR, but I guarantee you he's pretending to do it for the 911 operator. It's crazy. This whole thing, you listen to Larry and Kay Woodcock. Kay Woodcock is the sister of Alex Cox. They know from the very beginning this was a setup. Charles Vallow walks into that house and he gets shot by Alex Cox. The Woodcocks are convinced of it. I am too.
Yeah. The defense here was self-defense, Julie Grant, and he said he got hit in the back of the head, had a little scratch. He got hit with the bat. Charles Vallow was a college baseball player. He was still a big, strong man. If he's going to take a swing at your head, you're not going to be able to brush it off, walk to your room, retrieve your weapon, walk back, and then shoot him. Just not going to happen.
Exactly. Oh, you're exactly right. So that's red flag number one, right? He would have done a lot more physical damage to Alex Cox if he made contact with him with that baseball bat, as he claims this whole scenario went down, right? And you would think with the reaction, if somebody's chasing you with a baseball bat, truly, wouldn't you run? Wouldn't you think that would be, get out of the house? No, he goes, gets a gun, squares off with him and shoots him in the chest. So he's, straight on admitting the way the bullet trajectory went, right in the chest. And then before he calls 911, he waits about 5 minutes and goes and puts his gun away back in the bedroom because he's asked about it later on the 911. I wonder, is he like checking his watch? Like, okay, maybe it's about time to call now. Yeah, I think a couple minutes have passed. Okay. I mean, it is so sinister and sickening. It's one of those things, if you don't hear it with your own ears, it's almost hard to believe a human being would behave this way. One brother-in-law behaving that way to his, family by marriage. It's unbelievable.
He doesn't even try to act it.
And I think,
normally these 911 calls, the person, they try to act like, oh my gosh. No, he's just like, my brother-in-law's dead. There's nothing there. It's crazy.
Yeah. He gives an affirmative defense. He gives the affirmative defense in the call, in the report to the dispatcher. I shot my brother-in-law in self-defense. I mean, who says that? Yeah. Who says that?
Unreal.
It's horrible.
Unreal. Ice cold person. I think he would be charged already if he was still around, but he is not.
Yes.
He's dead too. All right.